the Dallas Cowboys have their work cut out for them this offseason, but it gets a little bit more difficult now that the NFL has officially canceled the scouting combine in Indy, and most importantly, they canceled in-person workouts. So now the Dallas Cowboys have to make sure they do their homework very, very diligently. Now, before I go any further, if you guys could, please make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe if you're new here. 90% of you guys watching aren't subscribed, so I recommend you do that so you don't miss out on content like this. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell as well so that you don't miss out on that content or when I go live. So, with that out of the way, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of this entire situation. And to be honest with you, it's going to be very mixed because you can look at this in a positive light and a negative light for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's start off with the positives, okay? So I think one positive we could take away from this is that it more or less solidifies the draft stock of certain players. Like, for example, right, you have guys that, were possibly going to rise with combine, in-person workouts and stuff like that. More specifically with the quarterbacks, you're going to have teams that want to evaluate which quarterbacks best fit their team. And now that they can't have those in-person workouts, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to fully evaluate them. So you might have a situation where some quarterbacks begin to slide because other franchises aren't sure of if they should take that guy because they haven't had that in-person experience to really gauge on, hey, this is a guy I want. And you can argue that also plays against the Cowboys because now people will be more hesitant to take a quarterback. But I disagree with that premise, mainly due to the fact that teams do what they'll have to do to get the quarterback they want. So that means that trading down at 10 could become more of an enticing option for the Cowboys, since you might have a prospect like a Trey Lance. Definitely Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones will be there at 10. And so you might have a team that's like, well, Trevor's not there. Fields isn't there. Zach Wilson isn't there, but we still need a quarterback. So, we need to trade up with them, and I think you take the best option, and I think that you want to try and load up on picks for next year. So if you can get a first and a third, I should say, get one of those trade packages where they give up a ton of draft capital for next year's draft, I think that'd be great. But it just comes down to how the Cowboys value some of these other prospects, too. Like, if they value a Caleb Farley or a Patrick Surtain, Micah Parsons, if he's on the board, if they value him that highly and they want him in here, that could also possibly happen. I think that one of those guys will be there at 10. And I'm not going to say who they should pick because it really depends on the draft board and who's there. But ultimately, the Dallas Cowboys have to be very careful because there could be a situation where players just, the draft board just falls normally, but I don't know. I mean, there could be a lot that happens this year. Now, in terms of more of the negatives, the Cowboys won't be able to fully investigate whether or not someone has a medical issue that could hamper them. So I don't know any of these, like, they're usually during the combine, you might have someone, like, I forget who back then, but I remember someone at the combine had, like, something come up and it really affected their draft. I don't remember, so I don't want to just give you, a vague, but I know that that's happened before. But either way, I think that if the Cowboys are trying to figure that out, that's going to be a problem because now you can't really inspect injury history, well, other than when they were in college, but more so like, is there going to be any lingering issues through medical checkups and stuff like that? Now, from what I've heard, the NFL can administer medical checkups for the prospects at their local medical facilities, which is a decent, compensation. But I think that obviously teams want to do their own, evaluation, but who knows? Now, if, I look at these players again, it's going to condense the draft order in the sense of if you are looking for one guy and you really liked him this college football season, odds are you're going to take him. Because there's no evaluation personally through these organizations. So that also, will impact who the Cowboys get at 10. Like, you can have a situation where the Broncos were looking at some quarterback options, and now they're like, well, I don't know if I like any of these quarterbacks here, so I'm just going to take the best player on the board, and whether it be a defensive player, I don't know, whoever they want to pick, that could definitely impact that. Or it could impact the opposite, where it's like, okay, you know, you have a team like New England or Indianapolis, maybe Pittsburgh, where they're like, well, we need a quarterback, so, you know, and we really like either a Mac Jones or a Trey Lance, so we need to go get that guy. I don't want to repeat myself, but ultimately that is going to be the lingering debate that many of these front offices will have. And this does, you know, and for the Cowboys, this could impact them staying at 10. Like, maybe they just don't feel confident. Like, okay, if we trade down, I don't, like, maybe that guy will be there, but at the same time, what if we, you know, really like if they start doing their research and they really like a Caleb Farley, Patrick Surtain, or whoever else defensively, they might be less prone to trading that pick regardless of who's on the board. But I'm still in favor of trading down, you know, based off of the situation. And, you know, who knows? You know, I don't know what will happen in the next couple months because, you know, free agency is definitely going to impact how people select their prospects in this draft. You might have a prospect that raises their value just simply based off of the free agency period. So we'll take a look at that. So if I would say or give any form of advice for those that are wondering or doing mock drafts, I would just be aware that, hey, we might have a situation where the mock draft just is consistent. You know, I can't see a way that it changes at this point based off of what's happening. So I really hope the Cowboys do well in their draft evaluation process because they're going to have they'll have a lot of ammunition this year, but they had to take advantage of their opportunity. And, you know, because they're in that top 10 position, that also puts them in the conversation for trading down. So I'm just hoping the Dallas Cowboys don't mess this up, because if you really F up a top 10 pick, that could set you back several years. And especially with a defense that needs help, you know, who knows? And maybe the Cowboys do go like, okay, well, they have their own personal evaluation of their players, and they're like, hey, you know, like, for all we know, we're talking defense, and the next thing we know, we're talking about we need to get Rashawn Slater because someone, you know, either, you know, Tyron retires or is released. I don't know. But I think that the Cowboys will figure this out, though, possibly. I don't know. So, I don't want to go on forever. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like as well as subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, all that other stuff. Comment down below how you feel about this. I'll catch you guys out in the next one. Alright, guys? Have a good one. Bye-bye.